I'm Kate Lee, Executive Director of Education and Workforce for the South Bend Regional Chamber, and excited to welcome Chad Shinneman, Maintenance Manager at Steel Warehouse, as our guest for this chat. So let's get started. So, Chad, thanks for being here today for these deep probing questions, and I'm glad you're participating. So we're going to start with, what was your first job? How old were you? And what did it teach you that you use in your job today?
All right. My first job, I was in seventh grade. I believe I was 13 or 14. I was working at a golf course. The way I got that job was it was in the neighborhood I lived in, and I just walked in the pro shop and asked for a job. I got it. I did that until I was a freshman in high school, and um, basically it just taught me, work ethic. Show up to work every day, do what you can, do your best, and it taught me how to listen to somebody telling me what to do, how to take direction. I did that until I started work on a farm in high school.
What did you do on the farm?
I worked on a pig farm, so I did everything from dragging dead hogs out of the pens to cleaning them, shoveling, pressure washing. I fed them, all that good stuff.
So did that help you decide what you did want to do and also what you didn't want to do as you moved forward with your career?
Yeah, I didn't want to work with pig crap. I knew that. I wanted to smell good. I, everything I showered a couple times a day. It seemed like.
I'm sure your mom appreciated it when you gave up that job.
Oh yeah, yep. It taught me because I also learned maintenance doing that, working on the facilities, so and working on the tractors with the farmer.
Nice.
And that kind of helped guide where I wanted to be. I knew I wanted to fix things.
Great.
So I got a lot of enjoyment out of that.
So tell us then about your education and career pathway. What did you do next?
Well, next, since I knew that's what I wanted to do, and I was mechanically inclined, I also had a 71 Chevelle that I worked on. So I went to vocational for auto body and learned a little bit about that. And I really liked welding and fabrication. So that directed me into the trades. And I actually was trying to become an apprentice at the IBEW, which is electrician, inside wireman. And I couldn't find anything. So I decided to go to Ivy Tech and get a industrial maintenance degree. And I got that as I was working construction. And I kind of fell into a millwright's apprenticeship. And that was the first apprenticeship that opened up, and I took it. And I ended up loving it. I never looked back. I decided I'm more mechanically inclined than I am anything else. So I stuck with it.
How did you find the millwright apprenticeship? How did you find the opportunity?
So it's a funny story. Rob Johnston, the plant, I think he was the plant manager at the time. He is a close family friend, and it was Christmas Eve. And my uncle looked at him and said, "Hey, get this kid a job." And he said, "Well, I got an apprenticeship available. Do you want to apply?" And that's how I fell into it.
Nice. So you work for Steel Warehouse.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about, since you came on board, like what you started out doing, like what your regular day was like when you first started, and how your career has progressed since you joined Steel Warehouse.
Well, when I first started, I was a first year apprentice. So I kind of started from the bottom up. And it was basically PMs, greasing machinery, going around making sure sprockets are tight, motors aren't loose, stuff like that. And then they started throwing me into breakdowns. And then once I started doing that, got comfortable, I got my skill set up. I started doing it all, fabricating, welding, learned hydraulics, how to diagnose hydraulic systems. And I just kept going. I became a millwright, and then became a millwright A, which is our highest paid millwright here. I was the first one. I became that in about 5 years, and then 2 years later, I applied for the maintenance supervisor position, and I got it. I've been here about 10 years now.
Okay, excellent. So how long were you there before you started supervising other people?
Uh, 7.5 years.
Okay.
So not very long.
So for as far as like internal training after you started, was there did you go to traditional class? Did you learn things online, or was it all like mentoring by your supervisors and they showed you how to do things?
So with the apprenticeship, we have classes and courses that we have to take. I was fortunate enough that I had all those done before I started here because I knew this was the path I was going. So I had all the classes out of the way. So for me, it was just on the job training. But for an apprentice, we have it's a 4-year program. So we take classes instead of like a 2-year degree. It takes us 4 because we're doing on the job training too. So we kind of prolong it. We also have man lift training, forklift training. I had the guys out from SKF Bearing come and do classes for us. So it's not just the schooling through the apprenticeship. We also set up courses for the guys that work here, not just apprentices, but for everybody, millwrights, um, even our supervisors.
So are there like obviously you've been there quite a while, so you know this. What are the different entry points that people can come to Steel Warehouse through? Like if say if you were coming right out of high school, but aspired to do the millwright apprenticeship program, what you might need to do and what that would look like.
So if you are pursuing a job in the trades at Steel Warehouse, you can also get in through uh, becoming an operator. We're always hiring for on the floor jobs, crane operator, machine operator, our banding line, material handlers. So if you want to pursue a job here, you just get online, get on Steel Warehouse's website, and apply.
And what kind of skills, like what would you recommend for students to be doing while they were in high school to be best prepared to take full advantage of that operator position?
Um, just make sure you get good grades, you graduate. Really, that's all you have to do. Once you're graduated, you can get in here. But um, if you're looking for that career, I would look at trade schools as well. I'd look at apprenticeships that are available, not just for steel warehouse, but for any of the trades. I'm a huge advocate for the trades. They're all good. IBEW, the pipe fitters union, to be a plumber. You could be a lineman. You can be a millwright like me. They're everywhere right now. It's
So you
it's up to
mentioned that
you.
you had a car that you worked on in high school. So that was one of
Yeah,
your projects. And so you took auto body through career and technical education? Is that
I I did. I did. Yeah, that car, that was a huge part of who I am. Unfortunately, I sold it, but
oh no.
yeah, no, that was a huge passion of mine. Was working on that, and it did. It molded me into a career path. So,
Yeah.
I mean, if you have hobbies, like if you like to work on things, just do it. Get an old beater, work on it.
I think it's super important for students to know that, and educators to know that there's no wasted education and you can learn so much by doing projects like that. Maybe you should buy another
Yeah.
one and you can work on it with your kids. I'm just
Well,
saying.
I do. So
It's
I
time
have
for you
a
guys to do a car together.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I have a 70 F100 in my garage that I'm restoring. So that
Nice.
never died.
That's good. I mean, everybody has to have a hobby, and it's nice when it's a productive one, right? That's great.
That's right.
So tell us a little bit about Steel Warehouse. So I know it's on the west side, but tell the students where does what you do at Steel Warehouse show up in our world? Like where might they see something that has a part that's made at Steel Warehouse or actually is made at Steel Warehouse, fabricated there? What shows up in our world?
Well, the most known thing is John Deere tractors. So a lot of the steel on a John Deere tractor is that comes from us. It's processed by us. They're our biggest customer. So we also do international. We also do Caterpillar. So a lot of the farm equipment.
And you guys make something, you have the machine that, okay, I'm not going to get this name right, but the thing that slides out from the back of a truck so that you can put it to the dock, right? Isn't that?
Yeah, yep, the dock plate. We're a huge supplier for Amazon. We have 2 machines that run pretty much 24/7, dedicated for docking plate, uh, mainly for Amazon.
Right. So that's so that, am I right that, so it's a dock plate? Is that what it's called?
Yep, we call it dock plate. It's about 5/8 thick, diamond plate, and we bevel it so it you can drive up on it. It's kind of ramp up on it.
Oh, so they drive forklifts across it? Is that?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
okay. Excellent.
So
So I'm looking at my questions, and there's something hinky going on with my Zoom. Like I can't see if there's any questions in the box. So if Reagan can see the chat and there is a question, feel free to jump in and ask that question, because I've got something weird going on with Zoom today. I don't know what it is, but it's like I just see Reagan says no questions. So no questions in the chat. What else would you tell students about just after you get started on the job? I know you talked a little bit about, you started supervising people and you learned a lot just in your high school jobs about learning to take direction. But what other like key skills and things have you had to learn, adapt, and what do you feel like your personal qualities are that are most beneficial to you as you've grown in your career?
well, every job's different. Um, so I'd say the number one skill you need is work ethic. I mean, and that is another thing. You don't just come into a job and you're automatically good. You gotta apply yourself. You have to get in there, not be afraid to get dirty. Don't be afraid to ask questions. That's another thing. So just ask as many questions as you can. Keep an open mind, and no matter what you do, you'll make it. So if you show up to work every day, that's another one. That's a huge one. I'd say that's number one. Come to work every day.
We hear that from every employer across every industry. Show up. And the willingness to continue learning, because I think the world is changing so fast. I'm sure there are processes at Steel Warehouse that have changed since you started there 10 years ago, right? Like that you've had to adapt.
Oh yeah.
Is there new technology you've had to learn?
Yeah, and that's why we do the courses. Like we'll have certain people come in and teach us. So we've also sent people out of town to learn. I see so automation's huge, and we're starting to automate. So that's a huge adaptation for us, especially being mechanical. We don't know much of that, so we'll have to do classes and stuff. Ivy Tech, they have robotic classes, PLC classes. That's a part of our program too when we do the apprenticeship. So with that's classes that Ivy Tech will give you. But when that comes, we'll have to brush up on all that again.
Learning forever, lifelong learning, right? It's a thing.
It's nonstop.
Exactly. So my final question for you is, if there is something that you could tell high school or even maybe middle school Chad about what advice would you give to that younger version of yourself that you think would have been helpful in getting you to where you are, either easier or quicker? What advice?
Well, for myself, I would have told myself not to just look at being in the IBW, look at the broad of skill trades. I didn't even fall into what I wanted to be. I became a millwright, which actually suits me better. So keep an open mind of what you want to do. Don't just have one thing you want to do. Have three, and focus on those, not just one. That's probably what I would tell myself. And also be open to constructive criticism, because I used to be sensitive and I didn't like listening to what people had to say. So that's another big thing as a kid when you're in high school is you have to be open to criticism, constructive criticism.
Right. I mean, taking direction is really important, and we're not always, all of us aren't really great at that. I have my own problems with that, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and I had to overcome those problems as well.
Yeah. Well, that's great advice. And look, you have. So you're living proof that you can overcome a lot of that and you can thrive in your career if you keep an open mind.
Yeah,
So
thank you.
awesome. Well, we appreciate you taking the time to have this career chat with us. We appreciate you sharing your story. And for students who are listening to this, be sure to check out the Manufacturing Days career chats we'll be adding to the landing page. You can learn from other employers, educators, and community partners who are providing career pathway support and opportunities in our region. So thanks again, Chad. Have a great day, and we appreciate your time.
All right, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks.